trauma of near death in human memory and producing one of the most extreme forms of pain imaginable, the visceral fear of death itself, the ultimate fear, the one fear that nobody can ever really conquer. In late 2002, Defense Secretary Rumsfeld appointed General Jeffrey Miller to command Guantanamo with a wide latitude for interrogation, making this prison an ad hoc behavioral laboratory. Under General Miller, Guantanamo's interrogators stiffened the psychological assault by exploring Arab cultural sensitivity to sexuality and fear of dogs. General Miller also formed behavioral science consultation teams of military psychologists who probed each detainee for individual phobias, such as fear of dark or attachment to mother. Through this total three-phase attack on sensory receptors, cultural identity, and individual psyche, Guantanamo thereby perfected the CIA's psychological paradigm. After a visit from the Guantanamo Chief, General Miller, in September 2003, the U.S. commander for Iraq, General Ricardo Sanchez, issued orders for sophisticated psychological torture. As I read from those orders, please listen for the combination of the three key techniques: sensory disorientation, self-inflicted pain, and that recent innovation, cultural humiliation. Quote, U, environmental manipulation, altering the environment to create moderate discomfort, e.g., adjusting temperatures. V, sleep adjustment, adjusting the sleeping times of the detainee, reversing sleeping cycles from night to day. X, isolation, isolating the detainee from other detainees for up to 30 days. Y, presence of military working dogs, exploits Arab fear of dogs. AA, yelling, loud music, and light control, used to create fear, disorient detainee, and prolong capture shock. Stressed positions, use of physical posturing, sitting, standing, kneeling. It is no accident that Private Lindy England was famously photographed leading an Iraqi detainee leashed like a dog. Step 4, legalization of psychological torture. Confronted by public anger over the expose of Abu Ghraib, the Bush White House fought back by defending torture as a presidential prerogative necessary for the war on terror. But in June of 2006, in a dramatic rebuke of the president's position, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in Hamdan v. Rumsfeld that Bush's military commissions were illegal because they did not meet the requirements of the Geneva Conventions. Then on September 6, 2006, in a dramatic bid, a televised meeting in front of the 9/11 families inside the East Room of the White House, President Bush announced that he was transferring 14 top al-Qaeda captives from the secret CIA prisons to Guantanamo Bay. To allow the CIA program with its alternative set of procedures to go forward, President Bush announced that he was sending legislation to Congress that would legalize the same presidential prerogatives on the treatment of detainees that had just been challenged by the Supreme Court. On September 21st, after tense day-long negotiations inside Vice President Cheney's Senate office, Republican partisans reached a compromise that sailed through the Congress within a week without any amendment to become the Military Commissions Law 2006. Now, in drafting this law, Dick Cheney took enormous care to give the CIA interrogators an absolute immunity against any future prosecution for both physical pain and psychological torture. Let's see how he did it. Buried deep inside this law's 38 pages of dense black print, Cheney included clauses defining serious physical pain as, listen for it, the significant loss or impairment of the function of a bodily member, organ, or mental faculty. Now, you've just heard me quote that. That's the most notorious, the most outrageous quote from all of the Bush torture memos. That's right out of the John Yoo, August 2002 torture member, which defines pain equivalent to organ failure as perfectly legal. Let me be clear. A definition of torture so outrageous that it had already been repudiated by the Bush Justice Department was actually written into the law of this land. That is the law of this land right now. It's on the books. Above all, the Military Commissions Act protected the CIA's use of psychological torture by repeating verbatim the exculpatory language found in those Clinton-era reservations to the UN Convention, still embedded in Section 2340 of the Federal Code. The final phase, impunity in America. Not only were the Bush administration's Justice Department lawyers aggressive in their advocacy of torture, they were meticulous right from